And so this video begins in Sweetwater, Tennessee on this Tuesday, January the 13th. Over here on the corner, there's a restaurant called The Lazy Beagle. I've got a lazy beagle at home named Bella. This is a very picturesque town. I would say Mayberry level. Up this street here, I can see the Sweetwater Police Department right there on the corner. And right here in this alleyway, tucked away, a city barbershop. Speaking of Mayberry, is Floyd the barber working today? Walking down towards the Lazy Beagle. Right before it is a coffee shop called Cup Runneth Over Coffee House. I could go for a cup. All right, I'm about to walk up and order my cup of coffee. I noticed on the wall is a picture of the hardware store, which is now the antique store. Right here's the alleyway we walked down. That was known as Guthrie, Bradley, and Jones Hardware and Furniture Store. This is literally the building. These are the buildings I just showed you, almost the same angle. And Sweetwater, Tennessee, written on the side of the Lazy Beagle right there. Got my coffee. Check out that hound dog up there. Go Vols. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time. I am Tampa J. Thanks for clicking on the video. Welcome to East Tennessee. I started to put this on the windowsill, but I was afraid my camera was gonna fall off. This is a really cool mural here. Sweetwater, pretty sweet, no pun intended. It's a really nice, picturesque town. A very American town. I love it. I also hear a train coming. There's train tracks over there. Thanks for clicking on this video, guys. Today, I am going to take the Lost Sea Adventure, the underground lake, a boat tour way down under, here on this beautiful day in December, early 2026. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I've actually done the Lost Sea Adventure before. I've toured this cave, but it was many years ago. It was actually summer 2014. I did a little road trip. Started out in Tennessee and went all the way through Indiana, around through Washington, D.C., all the way back down to Florida. I barely remember this cave. I do remember like the boat. So I am anxious to take this tour again, and how special, how exciting is it that I get to do it with you guys vicariously. I hope you enjoy this tour. If you've been on this tour before, I hope you enjoy my experience. Train's coming. We're gonna get to see the train. I hope you enjoy the video, guys. I am so grateful for you being here. Thanks for always watching, sticking with me. They're lowering the, check this out. It's almost like I timed that perfectly. And there's this little park with this gazebo in front of the railroad tracks. Also, there's an old train car over here. Getting really close to this train. Wow. I mean, stupid close. Pretty amazing. Settled in the 1820s, Sweetwater flourished when the East Tennessee and Georgia Railroad was constructed through the town in 1852. Trains stopped and drew water from two large tanks supplied by the nearby creek, and a freight depot stood in the parking area to your right. Because of its strategic location, this small town became an important supply center during the Civil War. Initially, a Confederate garrison protected the facilities at Sweetwater. The situation changed during Union General Ambrose E. Burnside's East Tennessee campaign when the 45th Ohio Mounted Infantry arrived in September 1863 and occupied this town. And that was the train. All right, got really quiet in downtown Sweetwater. Doesn't this kind of look like the Friends Fountain at Warner Brothers? It's a little shorter, but almost the same shape. Pretty amazing. This is a nice town. All right, it's time. It's time to go to the Lost Sea Adventure. Thanks for clicking on the video, guys. Thanks for watching. We have only just begun. There's much ahead. Let's do it. All right, so here on my map, check it out. The Lost Sea Adventure, address 140 Lost Sea Road, Sweetwater, Tennessee. We are go We are 9 minutes, 5.6 miles away from this roadside attraction. And it's 47 degrees here on this East Tennessee sunny winter morning. It's a perfect day to go spelunking. I'm anxious to get down and see America's largest underground lake. That's right, the largest underground lake in America. And we have signage. We have made it to the Lost Sea Caverns and Village. Welcome. This is a lot nicer than I remember. And I do recall coming here for the first time on a Saturday and this parking lot being packed. Not the case today here on this Tuesday in the winter. We're gonna have this tour almost all to ourselves. When I purchased the ticket, it said there were over 22 spaces available. It is a time ticket. It cost me $28.95, came out to about 35 bucks with all the taxes and fees. They do offer military discounts, senior citizens. Check out the website and the link below. I'll put that down there so you can follow along. I know the cave entrance is over here to the right, but there's also the Lost Sea Village. I have 45 minutes until noon. That is my time ticketed entry into the Lost Sea Adventure, so we're gonna explore the village before we get there, much ahead. And I can remember buying a souvenir right here in the general store all those years ago. Although it's closed today, bummer. I would like to get back in there. Maybe it'll open up later, but maybe a lot of this stuff here in the village is only open on the weekends. They even have a gem mining attraction back here too. It wouldn't be a Tennessee roadside attraction without a gem mine. Behind me over there, I'm seeing something I don't remember. That looks like a brand new building over the entrance to the cave. That is blowing my mind. It's the ye old wishing well. All funds go to following organizations: Shrine Crippled Children. I wish I had some coinage. Would love to donate. Hey Andy, what are you doing at the bottom of a well? If you're a Goonie, you know what I'm doing. I noticed this sign over here. It says, attention, there will be a $50 fine for putting rocks or anything into the gem mine other than dirt you have purchased. Ooh, they're serious. The blacksmith shop is wide open. No good cheating blacksmith. You can take a peek in here. It's kind of spooky, isn't it? Ooh. Wow. Please do not pump bellows. Check out that giant bellow there to cool off the fire in the anvil. That's pretty neat. And here's the rafters. I wonder if there is an actual blacksmith that still does some blacksmithing in here. Is that what you say? Blacksmithing? That no good cheating blacksmithing? Alright, I was looking for the restrooms, but they must be in the main building, so I'm walking over almost 35 minutes early. Maybe they'll start the tour early. I don't know, we'll see. Looks like there's some Civil War history up here to be read as well. Great Craighead Cave. That is the cave where the Lost Sea Adventure is. Here's an old drawing. Tennessee Saltpeter Cave, Harper's Weekly, February 6, 1864. And down here, here's a picture. It says that saltpeter or niter is a key ingredient of gunpowder found in many limestone caves in East Tennessee. In June 1861, Randolph Ross Jr. and J. Marshall McHugh contracted with the Confederate Ordnance Bureau to produce niter here at the Milksick Knobs, a place where the white snaker root thrived. Beneath the sandy shell that nurtured the deadly herb was the Great Craighead Cave, which contained significant deposits of saltpeter. So it goes on to say, take a screenshot, make it last longer. During the Civil War, yeah, they harvested gunpowder out of this cavern we're going down. That is definitely not the same building I entered back in 2014. This is a newer entrance, a newer building. The one before, let's see if I can find a picture of it, but it was more of a like an old country or Midwestern kind of vibe. Mid-century vibe is what I mean, not Midwestern. Yeah, there it is right there. It's about the same size. Wow, I had no idea that they tore down the original building. Maybe it was just getting old? Maybe. I don't know. That's weird. I like that they put like a Viking boat right there. The Lost Sea. Notice it doesn't say adventure anymore. I think it's just called the Lost Sea now. They took the adventure out. All right, so restrooms are to the left when you walk in. I walked up to the counter, showed my QR code for my ticket, and they printed out a ticket for me for 12 o'clock. They said be right here at 12 o'clock. There's also a gift shop right here to the right we can check out as we wait. And also it says over here that the tour duration is 1 hour, 3/4 of a mile round trip hike, cavern temperature 58 degrees. So it's warmer down below than it is up here. And right here before the gift shop in this glass display case are some artifacts and some fossils that were found down in the cave, including a pickaxe right there. Also some arrowheads. And look at this, Civil War era bullets. Authentic, pretty neat. And welcome to the gift shop. We got the Lost Sea t-shirt. The adventure is gone. That's different. I didn't know they took the name off the adventure, but we're still on an adventure. All right, this still says the Lost Sea Adventure. Of course, they got their older merchandise. A lot of mugs, a lot of cups, a lot of shirts, a lot of hats. It's a roadside attraction. Oh, look at this. This is classic. This little snow globe. Lost Sea Adventure. I'm still going to call it that. This one's got Bigfoot on it, aka Big the Foot. You can have a piping hot caffeinated beverage with a Big the Foot mug. Shout out to Adam the Woo, who has been here to the Lost Sea Adventure. Miss you, buddy. All right, it's about to start. I just gave the announcement, no food, no drink. They're going to take our tickets and we're going to head in. Right, into the tunnel. Look at this. Yellow. Wow. Also, there's a bench down here. It's amazing. This doesn't happen every day. Regulations.
All right, guys, how are y'all doing today? Good. My name's Maddox. I'll be y'all's tour guide here at the Lost Sea today. There are a couple of things we need to go over before we get started. This tunnel that we're in right now is called the Yellow Tunnel. We call it the Yellow Tunnel because it's yellow and it's a tunnel. We blasted through a 135-meter rock in 1964 to make entering and exiting the cave a lot easier. So this right here is called the natural entrance. We're going to talk more about the natural entrance as we go up the trail. There's a couple of rules and regulations that we need to go over. Please stay on the trails and behind me at all times. Please no smoking or vaping inside the cave. Please don't litter in the cave. And please don't break down nor deface any of the cave walls or formations. I'll lead you up to the Tennessee State Fine for up to $500. Now we do have a motto here, take nothing but pictures, and leave nothing but footprints. The Lost Sea, the walking tour, it is a 3/4 of a mile round trip. It's a half mile down to the boat ride, and 1/4 of a mile back up to the surface. If you guys are ready to get started, come and follow me. Please watch your step right here in the
All right. Pretty cool. I'm going to be the last one. I'm hanging back just so I can show you what's going on. Watch ahead, watch below. All right. Whoa. Okay, we're in the cave. The Lost Sea Adventure. Yeah, still embracing the adventure down here. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Wow. It's a pretty amazing bridge. Ooh, not very sturdy. Something popped. It's starting to get warmer.
All right, guys, this formation right over here is called the Cascades. It is made up of two formations. The one on the top of there is called drapery. The one on the bottom down there is called flowstone. Drapery is made up of iron oxide. Flowstone is made up of calcium carbonate, also used in tombs and relics. Now we call drapery up there, we call it cave bacon, because it looks like bacon under the right lighting. You guys can feel free to take any pictures or videos that you would like, but sadly this is a dead end, so we're going to have to make our way back up the way we came. So if you guys can follow me, please watch your head for that low-hanging rock. The rock is not
check out the cave bacon first. You know what sounds good? Bacon. I don't know if cave bacon tastes as good as real bacon though. Does kind of look like bacon. Maybe not, Kevin. All right, so now we're walking back the way we came. Dead end this way. This is going pretty quick. There's my shadow. All right, so there's the tunnel we just walked down. Pretty cool. Now we're heading down to the left. Left of the main door.
Alright guys, if you guys look over here to your left hand side, we call this the Veil of Tears. We call it the Veil of Tears because it drips water constantly and it looks like it is crying. It is made up of two formations. The one on the top there is called stalactites. The one on the bottom down there is called stalagmites. A good way to remember that. The stalactites hang tightly to the ceiling, and stalagmites might reach the ceiling one day.
The Lost Sea Adventure.
that we just passed around right over here, we call this the Cherokee Council Chamber. We call it that because in the 1820s, a Cherokee chief named Chief Craighead acquired this land through the Hiwassee-Ocoee land grant. We believe that he held council meetings down here with the tribe. Now we believe this because in 1947, a group of teenagers came down here and found Native American artifacts, such as pottery, jewelry, and arrowheads. Those are also displayed in our display case in the lobby if you want to see those. Now also right up here, we have anthodites. Anthodites are one of the rarest cave formations in the world. They only grow in about 8 caves worldwide, and they only grow about 1 cubic centimeter every 1,000 years. They are also a reason why we are a U.S. natural landmark.
Here's what he was just talking about up close. Oh yeah. Check it out. Very rare. Watch your head. I'm a little too tall for this cave. Wow. There's another big cavern. Pretty amazing. Whoa. That's awesome. It looks like we're going this way though. Ground's a little soft right here. Big wide paths, but not very smooth. Although it's one of the smoothest walkways in a cave I've ever walked them up, if that makes sense.
This is called the leeching bed. Now the Confederate soldiers used to come down here during the Civil War, and they used it to mine for a thing called saltpeter. They require that saltpeter by scooping up back guano and dirt. They put it into the vat, and they poured boiling hot water over it, creating a liquid called mother's liquor. They would take that mother's liquor, put it back into the vat, and they poured pot ashlight over it, which is light soap, and more hot boiling water. That made the saltpeter crystals they were looking for. They took those saltpeter crystals and sent them off to refineries to make gunpowder for the war. Also, as we pass by, you will see a date on the wall, 1863, that was carved onto the wall by a Confederate soldier using the burnt carbon end of his torch. It has been carbon dated and is proven to be authentic from 1863. It is also a reason why we are a Civil War trail marker. Now, if you guys will follow me, please watch the step in your hand.
Alright, so this has been sitting here since the Civil War. It's how they made powder, ammunition. 1863. Yeah, it's right there. Written during the Civil War. Looks like they have a gate here, this passageway.
It is our second largest access that we have into the cave. This room also contains our natural entrance. Our natural entrance is 132 place steps at a 45-degree angle. So it's going to be a fun walk. So sadly, we cannot go up there today, but I do have a couple of cool, fun stories to talk about that room up there. Also, the Eye of the Whirlpool, what a bit about right here. All right, you guys, up in that room in 1939, we found a 90-foot pit with the remains of an ancient Pleistocene jaguar. The jaguar measures about 8 feet long. Like you can tell, it was about 500 pounds. And we sent those remains off to the U.S. Natural History Museum in New York. And as soon as we get casting of his head and his paw print, those are also displayed in our display case in the lobby if you want to see those. Also in that room in 1947, we opened up the Cavern Tavern. It was a bar down here in the cave. We had 3 dance floors, 3 moonshine stills, and live music on the weekends. Now also in that room in the 1950s, we opened up as a fallout shelter in case of a national or natural disaster. We could feed up to 20,000 people for up to 2 weeks. We get enough for us. Nothing like that ever happened. So we had to dispose most of the food over the years. We would keep them for ourselves. As you guys can see those boxes and barrels down there. Those mostly contain saltine crackers and barrels of water. Now there is one last thing to mention in this room. That is complete total natural darkness. I'm going to need you guys' help with this one. If you guys can turn off any phones, watches, flashlights, cameras, or anything that produces light at the time, and please put your phone away in your pocket so we get the full experience. Now whenever I turn these lights off, please don't scream, and also
the monitor
please don't
covered.
talk over me. The lights are going off in 3, 2, 1. Alright, you guys, this is complete total natural darkness. You can only find it in 2 places in the world, the bottom of the ocean and the cave. I'd much rather the cave because there is no sharks down here. If you were to stay in this darkness for up to 2 weeks, you go completely irreversibly blind. Because your eyes are trying to dilate, trying to find light, and they're good. And as soon as your eyes found light, they would actually burn out. And good enough for us, we are not staying down here for 2 weeks. We're only staying down here until about right now. After you guys can follow me,
That was pretty dark. I covered the monitor, so. No one can see the light. Checking out those boxes he was pointing out. Wow. These have been down here since it was a fallout shelter. It's pretty amazing.
The legend has it. You look down there and been good. You look down there and see nothing. You look down there and been bad. You look down there and see the face of the devil. Step up and find out for yourself. A guy told me the other day he'd seen his mother-in-law down there.
We're about to look inside the devil's hole. Wow. Do you see anything down there? They do not know where it ends. That's pretty scary.
All right, you guys, the room they're in right now is called the spring room. We call it the spring room, so I'm sure you guys can hear the water rushing.
There you go.
That is Crystal Falls. Crystal Falls is the only visible water source that we can see throughout the cave. The water is about 98% pure and 2% mineral. The 2% minerals are magnesium and calcium deposits. Now also, as we head down through there on the right-hand side, you're going to see authentic moonshine steel from that cavern tavern I was talking about. Now this walk right here is a bit of a warning, because the equivalent to walking down and back up a 7-story building. So if you guys don't think you do that today, you can wait up here from these benches for about 20 to 25 minutes, alone, in the dark, and in the cave.
There's the waterfall. Nice little drip. Bridge over here. Here's the pool below. Standing out on this bridge. Bar is wet. Ooh. Nice little stream going through here. And there's the moonshine distillery over there. It looks a little too perfect. Might be a recreation. The sign says authentic. Maybe it's just been reset. Authentic moonshine distillery. A little stream down here too.
It's called the Ben Sands Tunnel. It's called the Ben Sands Tunnel because in 1905, a 13-year-old boy named Ben Sands came down here with an oil lantern during his round. He came down here to the bottom of the cave. He found a 40-foot long tunnel, about the size of a bicycle tire. He did what any 13-year-old boy would do. He crawled through that tunnel. He got to the end of the tunnel. He ended up about knee-deep in water. So he got balls of clay and some rocks and threw them around the room, trying to get a wall, but he never did. All he heard was water splashing. So he went up to the surface, trying to get his friends and his peers to come down here with the lake. But nobody believed a 13-year-old boy found a lake up underground during his drown. That was until about 2 months later, whenever he finally got his father to come down here with the lake. But the drought had ended, so this tunnel and the lake was all filled up by water. So it was lost until about 60 years later, whenever we heard about Ben Sand's story. We came down here to the bottom of the cave. We found that 40-foot long tunnel. We said we were not crawling through that tunnel, so we just blasted through this tunnel with dynamite, so you guys can actually touch the walls and the ceilings in here. It is completely safe. You will not do any more harm. They already have done. So whenever we blasted through this tunnel, lo and behold, on the other side there was a lake. So we went to go try to find Ben Sands, trying to give an interview. Whenever we finally found Ben Sands, he was just an old man at the time. We asked him a couple of questions. One of those big questions was, what type of rock was inside the tunnel that he went through? He said it was a form of granite. This is actually a form of granite, located here up on top of the ceiling. So he passed the test. He got full credit of this tunnel. He also got full credit of the lake. And he also got one of the biggest I told you so's in Tennessee history. Now, if you guys will follow me, please watch your step in your head.
Pretty cool story. Looks like Ben found America's largest underground lake. All right, entering a bridge here. Cool. Oh wow, I think I see it. Oh yeah, there it is. Wow. There's the lake. About to walk out on the dock. Cool, you can see the boat down there. Okay, here we go. Here's the dock. There goes the first boat. It'll be the last one on the boat. Oh wow, that's cool.
And then the rest of you guys, y'all are going to go on the blue side.
Blue side. Blue side.
All right, you guys, we are going to have to wait till Spike gets a little bit further out. We don't want to play bumper boats with him. We would win, and he will start crying. And trust me, Spike is not a very pretty cry.
Do you know how what the temperature of the water is, or like generally?
It's 56 degrees, but it feels like 26 degrees. You would get hypothermia in 15 to 20 minutes if you were to swim in here.
Wow.
There's no possibility of it freezing, even during cold temperatures outside, since it's independently climate controlled.
Yeah, we also have 98% humidity, so it kind of heats it. Welcome to max speed. Y'all feel the wind in your hair. If you don't have hair, feel the hair in the wind.
Love it. Wow, this is cool.
All right, you guys, congratulations. You guys have now set sail on the Lost Sea. The Lost Sea is America's largest underground lake. This lake room is about 800 feet long, 220 feet wide, and it gets up to 65 feet tall from the water surface up to the tallest point in the ceiling. That averages out to about 4.5 acres. Now, you guys may be wondering how these fish got down here. You guys might have seen a few. We stocked them down here in 1967 because of an experiment. So I'm so terribly sorry to break y'all's hearts. These fish are not natural to the lake. The experiment was, we thought if we tagged them with their name, address, and phone number, we would put them down here in the water. They'd make their way up to the surface. A fisherman would catch them. They would call us and say that they would have our fish. We would know where the lake led. But sadly, it didn't happen because the fish could not see in the dark. So they just bump their heads and come directly back to the light. Now, back in 1973, we sent our first divers expedition down here in the water. The divers came down here to map out the lake, and as they were doing so, they found several submerged passageways. One of those submerged passageways was right along this wall right over here, about 40 foot up under the water. It was an 800-foot long tunnel. On the other side of that 800-foot long tunnel was a room that was twice the size of this one. Now, due to unsafe conditions, they could not make their way over there because of their air tanks, causing a pressure shift, causing the settlement in the rock to fall down in front of them. Good enough for us, everybody made it out safe, but if we were able to claim that body of water over there, the Lost Sea would be over 13.5 acres big.
Wow.
Now, here in just a second, we're going to make our way back into the fish feeding area. That's where I get to feed the fish for you guys, and also get to talk about more information about the fish. These fish like to hang around this area right back here because they know where they get fed every boat ride every day. We're kind of like their Uber Eats and DoorDash all day, every day.
Fun. Got the other boat coming over here. Just letting the camera roll. There's a fish right there. Yeah. Trout. Yeah, look at the fish. Thank goodness they're not piranha. No. It's a very slow moving boat ride. Very enjoyable. The fish know there's food. Oh,
All right,
wow.
you guys. Now, you guys may have rumors about our fish. Some people like to say they're blind. Some people like to say they're albino.
Throwing
They're actually
food.
neither. They only lose about 20% of their eyesight and about 70% of their color. So these fish get some glasses, but I am pretty sure these fish would not want to wear
Ooh,
glasses.
got it.
They do tend to get pretty big. Biggest one we ever had. His name was Trevor. Trevor was about 16 pounds, 7 ounces, and just over 3 feet long. He's also displayed in our display case in the lobby if you want to see him.
Okay.
But in fact, Trevor was actually a girl.
Trevor.
Now, we did specifically choose the rainbow trout to be down here for this experiment because they cannot reproduce down here. We wanted a fish that couldn't reproduce because we didn't want overpopulation of fish. We also chose rainbow trout because they are highly adaptive to colder waters. This water is 56 degrees, but it feels like 26. So if you were to swim in this water for 15 to 20 minutes, you'd have high risk of hypothermia. Now, these fish do not have a natural food source down here, so we do have to feed them every boat ride every day. We feed them high-protein beef and liver pellets, which is basically like dog food or trout.
Sounds
we call
delicious.
it Farina trout chow. Now, there is a really funny story about these fish. One of the fish jumped up into the boat one time and landed on a woman's lap, and she beat it to death with her purse. She took it up to the front desk, asking if she can keep it. We said yes, of course, because that fish was already dead. She took it home. She cooked it up and she ate it. She called back a couple days later. She said it tasted like dog food. We asked her how she knew what dog food tasted like. She immediately hung up. That's actually a true story from 2003. Believe it or not.
Wow.
Now, if you guys look all the way back there in the very back, that is the deepest point of the lake that we have. It's about 75 foot deep back there. Sadly, we cannot go back there today because this metal bar right here, it would scrape the top of that ceiling. And I am pretty sure none of you guys would want to be stranded back there for about 30 minutes. Trust me, it is not fun. Now we are going to make our way out of the fish feeding area. Everybody say bye to all the fishies.
Bye.
All right, you guys, we are now passing directly up under our most recent rock fall. This happened last Thursday.
Ooh.
Last Thursday of 2,000 years ago. We know this happened 2,000 years ago because that drapery right over here, also known as that cave bacon, as you guys seen at the very first start of the tour, at the Cascades. We had an isotope 14 tested, and it's proven to be over 2,000 years old.
Like me. Kind of.
Now we are also passing directly up under our most active stalactite in the cave. She is called Betsy the Milking Cow. She drips over 40 times a minute. And don't feel scared if you get dripped on. That is called a cave's kiss. It'll give you good luck for the rest of your life.
Oh, it's dripping, yeah. Oh, about to get kissed by the cave. Oh boy.
Now that staircase that you guys walked down to get down to the boat dock with, that was built in 2007 because of the drought that we had. We lost over 30 feet of water. So your boat ride would have started in the middle of the lake, right back there where the drapery first starts. And your boat ride would have only been about 2.5 minutes long if you're lucky. So all this water that we're riding on right now would have been dried up all the way up until that point out there. So the people left us some pretty nasty reviews. People called us some pretty nasty names. Some of those Emma cannot say. One of our favorite ones was the Lost Puddle. All right, you guys are now safe to exit the boat ride. If you'd like your
Red
boat
team
ride,
go.
exit straight behind me.
All right, that was fun. The lake is definitely bigger than I remember. As he was saying, it did get bigger. Okay, now we have to walk all the way back. Now that was an adventure. It's still not over. So this right here is the 1927 clay staircase. Back then they charged 5 cents per person to come down in the cave and basically just roam free, no guided tours. Didn't last long. Not because it was dangerous, but because of the Great Depression hit. People couldn't afford to come down the cave. We can actually touch the lucky bear's paw. Let's do it. That was quite a climb. We took 2 breaks to catch our breath. I'll tell you what, sure did need it. You can see the devil's hole over there. So we're walking up to the bear claw. Ooh, spooky. Here's the bear claw right in the middle of the trail. Good luck. It's a big stalagmite. All right, I want to thank Maddox for the awesome tour. Thanks, Maddox.
All right, guys,
I don't know.
you guys can follow me up to the yellow
That was quite a hike. The devil's hole. We look down into the devil's hole. All right, slip moving away. And we're done. Wow, all right. Exit through the gift shop. Looks like the 1 o'clock tour is about to kick off. That was so much fun. That was better than I remember. Not that it was bad, but just better. And another look at the gift shop before we exit. I was going to take a look at that Trevor trout taxidermy. And it's Trevor. Wow, that's a big trout. Trevor the trout. So I asked someone inside when they built this newer building. It opened in 2024, so that's new. Although that's almost 2 years ago. Felt like it was just 2025 yesterday, pretty much. It's a nice building. It's a nice attraction. It is still an adventure, even though they dropped the adventure. The Lost Sea. And I got pretty toasty there. I'm sweating right now. I could have left my jacket in the car. It is 58 degrees, so be prepared. This is a newer sign, of course, the Lost Sea, Sweetwater, Tennessee. Hey, that rhymes. All right, guys, what was your favorite part of the cave? Did you enjoy the Lost Sea? I sure did. That was great. I look forward to coming back. It was a nice, smooth ride. Going down, pretty easy. Coming back up, there's a reason why we took 3 breaks. It is quite a climb, 7-story climb to the top, very steep at some point. So just be forewarned, and watch out. If you're tall like me, you're gonna have to watch your head, much ahead. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. We're gonna keep this kind of short today. We'll be back tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for always being here. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing okay out there. Stay strong, keep your head up. Please give this video a thumbs up. Also, subscribe below if it's your first time. I appreciate that. Know that you're awesome, that you're loved, and no matter who you are, or what you're going through, just know that there is always much ahead. It's not just a statement, it's a way of life. The Lost Sea. Formerly, the Lost Sea Adventure. That was fun, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Be good to each other.